Hello and welcome back. From our past few videos, we are already working with Delta Live tables. We already created a DLT pipeline that you can see on my screen. Today, we are going to integrate Autoloader into the same pipeline. We are going to read some files and we are going to ingest those files using Autoloader. We are also going to generate dynamic materialized view using parameters that we will pass inside this Delta pipeline. Now, before we can start with this video, if you have not seen our previous video, I would recommend you to go back and watch this video first. So, without any delay, let's begin. For today's session, we are going to use the same notebook that we are using from our past session, which is DLT Introduction. For the code for our previous session, I've already created a backup notebook with the name of part 2. Now, before we can start with autoloaders, we need to first create a managed volume where we will land our files for ingestion. So let me quickly switch back to the setup notebook. Now, in our setup notebook, we are going to create a managed volume called landing under catalog dev and schema ETL. And within that same managed volume, I'm going to create a folder called files and another folder for autoloader schemas. We already know that in order to work with autoloaders, we need to provide it a schema location. So before we can start with this, if you have not seen our previous autoloader video, go ahead and watch this video first. Meanwhile, let me just quickly create the volume and the folders. So I'll run this cell now. Awesome. Our volume and the folders are created. Let me just quickly refresh on the left hand side. And now you can see a volume here, right? Let me just expand this, expand the landing. And now you can see Autoloader folder and the files folder. Our setup for Autoloader is ready. Let's go ahead and write our code for the DLT pipeline. So let's quickly switch back to the DLT introduction notebook. Great. I'm back in my DLT introduction notebook. Now, as per our pipeline, we are already reading orders data from data tables, right? Today, we are going to read some more orders data using files. And we are going to use Autoloader for that. Now, before we can join the orders data with customer data, first we have to do an union between the orders data that we are reading from data table and the orders data that we will be reading from Autoloader. And once that union is done, then we are going to join it with customer browse. So let me just quickly close this DLT graph from here. And now we are going to read the data using Autoloader. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll quickly create a code cell right below the cell where we are reading the orders data from delta table. Okay. And I'll quickly copy the whole code from here and I'll paste it here. Okay, let me just scroll up. And now we need to read the data using Autoloader. So I'll just change it for orders Autoloader. Okay. Now the table that would be created in order to read data from Autoloader would be a streaming table. Because from our past video, we already know that Autoloaders provide us a source called cloud files, which is a streaming source. Okay. So let me just change a few things here. So I'll change the comment here. So I'll write Autoloader. Okay. And I'll add a name here. So what I'll do is I'll add a name and the name would be orders auto loader bronze. Okay. Now let me quickly change the name of the function. So I'll just keep it generic. So I'll write func. So the name of the function, let it be, because we have already added name here. Okay. So the name of the streaming table would be orders autoloader bronze. Okay. So let me quickly remove this code from here. And within this brackets, we are going to write our autoloader code. Okay. So in order to write autoloader code, we already know that we use spark.read string, and the format that we use in order to read autoloader is cloud files. Right now, I'll add the schema of the files that we are going to read, because we are going to do an union between the delta table and the autoloader data, right? So both the data should be under same schema. Now, if you want to see the schema, you can quickly go back to this graph here. You can click on orders bronze and you can copy the schema from here in order to create the schema string. But I already have done so, so I'll quickly paste it here. So I'll write dot option and I'll write cloud files dot schema hints, and I'm going to paste the schema here. And now I'm going to give an option for schema location where Autoloader will store its schema. Okay, so I'll write option and I'll write cloud files dot schema location. Okay, and I'll paste the location that we just created. So I'll expand on the left hand side dev, I'll expand ETL, I'll expand the volume, I'll expand landing, autoloaders, schemas, and I'll give this path here. Okay, so I'll just put the pointer here and click on this arrow. Okay, and I'll just add one here. Okay, so this is the location where Autoloader will save its schema. Okay, now I need one more option here where I'll tell it the file format. So I'll write cloud files dot format, which is CSV. Okay, and I'll give the extension as well. So I'll write path globe filter and I'll add it as star.csv. And now we'll provide the most important, which is the schema evaluation. Now we don't want the schema to change for the autoloader files, so we'll set the schema evaluation mode to none. Okay, cloud files dot schema evaluation mode. Okay, and I'll set it to none. Okay, so that if there is any schema change, that will be discarded. And now we are going to put the location where the files would be landing. So I'll write load, and I'm going to click this arrow here. Okay, this is where the files would land. So our code for the autoloader is already ready. Okay, now you might be thinking, why didn't we specify the location for checkpoint? Now, in case of DLT, we don't have to worry about it. DLT will take care of the checkpoint location, which would be the location of the streaming table. Okay, now we have already seen streaming table maintains its checkpoint location, and that would be the same location where the autoloader checkpoint will also be maintained. So we don't have to worry about it. We just need to specify the schema locations explicitly, but for checkpoints, it will be automatically managed at the location of the streaming table. Okay, so our code for the autoloader is ready. Let's go ahead and do union of the delta table and the autoloader now. In order to do union between two streaming tables, where the first streaming table is reading data from delta table and the second streaming table which we just created is an autoloader table, we need to use something which is called an append flow. Okay, now you might be thinking we can just use an union where we read the first streaming table and second streaming table and we just do the union. In this case, you can definitely do the union, but the incremental process will not be followed. So if you do an union between two streaming tables using union, all the data sets from both the streaming table would be read every time. Okay, so in order to avoid that and process the data incrementally, we can use something which is called an append flow. So for that, we first need to create an union table. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll quickly add a code cell here. So first we will create a blank streaming table. And in order to do that, I'll write DLT dot create streaming table. Okay, and now we need to provide the name of the table. So let me just write it as orders union bronze. Okay, now that we have created a table, let's write our code for append flow. So now we have to append the data from both the streaming tables one by one into this table that we have just created. Okay, so I'll just add a comment here called append flow. Okay, so in order to create an append flow, we first need the DLT decorator again, DLT dot, and now we will use something called append flow. Okay, and now within this append flow, we need to provide the target where we are appending the data. So I'll write target, and which is the same table that we just created. So I'll just copy and paste it here. Okay, and I'll put a function where we'll write orders delta append. Okay, now for this function, we are going to read the streaming table for the delta data, and we are going to append this inside the new union table that we just created. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll write df equals to spark dot read stream dot table, and we are going to use the live notation. Okay, because we are reading within the same pipeline. So I'll write live dot, and I'll quickly copy the name of the table here, which is orders bronze, and I'll paste it here. Okay, and I'll return the same data frame with just created. Okay, so this code will quickly append the data from the delta table into the new union table that we created. Okay, now the same thing we have to repeat for autoloader because we also want to union that data as well, right? So I'll just copy this again and I'll quickly paste it here, and this time I'll change the name here. So I'll write autoloader union. Okay, and we are going to read the autoloader table, so I'll just copy the name from here and I'll paste it here. Okay, so our code for append flow is ready. The use of the append flow is to union multiple streaming tables into one. So if you have 10 streaming tables, you can just go ahead and use this append flow in order to append the data from the streaming tables incrementally within the union streaming table. Okay, so this will help our pipeline to process the data incrementally. It does not have to read the whole data from all the streaming tables to do it union. Rather, it can only read the data incrementally from each of the streaming table and append it within the union table. Okay, so our data would be processed incrementally, and that is the use of the append flow. Great. Now that our union table is ready, we can go ahead and use this to join with customers, right? So let me just quickly copy this and I'll scroll down. And now we will read this table in place of orders bronze to join with customers. Okay, so I've just changed the code for the DLT view that we are creating here. To join it with customers, we are going to use the union bronze now. Okay, so our code for reading the data from autoloaders, doing a union using append flow is complete. Okay, now before we can run this pipeline, let me quickly add a file here for the autoloader. So I've already prepared the file. Now, if you want to prepare the file, you can just quickly go back to the setup notebook. You can scroll up, and right here where we selected the data for orders row, you can quickly click on this download button to download a CSV file. And then you can modify some data in order to use that as an ingestion for our autoloader. Okay, so I've already prepared some files, so I'll upload those. So what I'll do is I'll quickly upload one file here. So I'll click on this and I'll upload. Okay, let me just click on upload. And our file for autoloader is ready. Okay, let's quickly go ahead and click on validate first. So this will start our pipeline now. So meanwhile it is waiting for resources, I'll pause the video here and I'll quickly come back when this pipeline is up and running. Okay. Awesome. Our pipeline validation just completed. And now you can see, as expected, we are reading autoloader data. We are reading data from delta table. We are doing an union here. Then we are joining the data with customer. And then we are populating our orders aggregated goal. Okay. So our code works as expected, right? So let's go ahead and run this pipeline. So I quickly click on start here. Now, as our DLT pipeline is already running in development mode, it does not have to worry about the waiting for resources step and it can quickly run. So we will wait for the pipeline to complete. Okay. Awesome. Now, as you can see, the append flow already read the data from the autoloader and now it is reading the data from bronze. Okay. Now, since this is the first time we have added the union bronze here, this streaming table, this is why it has read all the data from the delta table and the 4 records from autoloaders. Now, if you can see the order silver is running, let's just wait for it to complete. Great. Our pipeline just completed. So if we see in the beginning here, so let me just zoom in, you can see there is no data read from the delta table, okay, because there was no incremental data. But since we added autoloader here and there were 4 records into the file, so we just read 4 records from there. And then we are doing a union here with a streaming table. Now the union streaming table read all the records from both of them because this is the first time it is loading data. So it read all the data from the delta table and the 4 records here, and then it completed the aggregation here. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's quickly add one more file for autoloader and rerun this whole flow. So what I'll do is I'll expand on the left hand side. I'll go to ETL. I'll go to volumes. I'll go to landing and I'll go to files and I'll upload one more file here. Okay. So let me just click on this and I'll click on upload to volume. So I'll add one more file here. I'll click on upload and our file is uploaded, right? And we already know that autoloaders process file incrementally. So it will not read the 4th file, rather it will only read the 6th file here. Okay. So let me just close this here and let me again click on start. Let's just wait for the pipeline to complete now. Awesome. The pipeline just started. So let me just expand this. And now if you can see, we are again incrementally reading 4 records from the new file. And now we are not reading any incremental record from the delta table. So the union branch only processes incremental 4 records now. Okay. There are no records read from delta table now into the union branch. And that is the benefit of append flow. You don't have to worry about incremental processing if you are using append flow in order to union multiple streaming tables. Okay. It will process the data incrementally. And now our pipeline running in order silver. So let's just wait for it to complete till aggregated gold. Awesome. Our pipeline just completed and the data is processed. Okay. Now let's go ahead and see how you can pass in parameters inside this DLT pipeline. Now consider a case the client comes back and asks you to add multiple goal tables based on order status that we will pass into the pipeline. Okay. For example, if we pass O and F as order status, it should go ahead and create 2 different materialized view, one for O and one for F. How we can do that dynamically? Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, in order to pass in a parameter inside a DLT pipeline, we first need to add that parameter as a configuration in the settings. Okay. So let me quickly go back to the DLT pipeline. So I'll go to the DLT introduction pipeline here. Let me quickly click on settings here. And if I scroll down, if you remember, this is where we add configurations. Okay. So let me quickly add a configuration. So our configuration is custom. So I'll just mention the name as custom dot order status. Okay. And for this, I'll add values called O, comma, F. Okay. This is comma separated. So we'll give 2 values. So if the order status is O and if the order status is F, we are going to read the data for both of the order status and we are going to create 2 materialized view, one for O and one for F. Let me quickly just go ahead and save this. Awesome. Our pipeline is saved. So now let's just go ahead and read that configuration within our DLT pipeline. So I'll quickly go back to my DLT code here. Let me quickly close this and I'll go to top and I'll add a code here. What we will do is, since we added it as a Spark configuration, we can go ahead and read that. Okay. So I'll add a variable called order status and I'm going to read it using Spark conf. So I'll write spark dot conf dot get. Okay. And the name was custom dot order status, right? And I'll make the default value as NA. So if there's no value passed, it would be by default NA. So this is where we read it. So I'll just copy this here and I'll scroll down in the bottom. And now we are going to create goal tables based on the order status. Okay. Dynamic. So now we are going to split that comma separated value and we are going to read it using for loop and we are going to create goal tables. Okay. So I'll write for status in, and this is where we are reading status, right? And now we have status in this, but before that we need to split it because the value is comma separated. So I'll write split based on comma. Okay. And now we have O and F as status inside this, right? And we have to create goal table. So I'll quickly copy the whole code for the goal table from here and I'll paste it here. Okay. So let me quickly just rearrange this. Great. Now this is gold, right? So let me just make it as function because now we need to dynamically create the name, right? So we would add name parameter here and we'll create dynamically name. So we'll use a f string here. We'll write orders AGG and we'll give the status here. So we'll use underscore status underscore gold. Okay. So the name would be created as orders AGG O gold, orders AGG F gold. Okay. And now we also need to put a filter on the order status, right? So let me just go ahead and add a filter here. So what I'll write is I'll write where and I'll add a filter here. So let me just quickly go to the setup notebook, order status, and I'll paste the name here, which is O underscore order status. And now we'll change this string as f string and we'll add that value underscore status. And we need to wrap this within single quotes because this is a string. Okay, so this is our code in order to filter order status based on the one that we get from the for loop. And based on that, we are going to create our materialized view. So our code is very well ready. Let's go ahead and validate this. So I'll click on validate. Awesome. Now, if you see, we have already created three materialized view here. The first one is orders aggregated F gold, O gold, and the gold for all of them. Okay. So this materialized views are based on the order status, which are O and F, and this materialized view on the total orders, right? Let's go ahead and click on start now. Awesome. Our pipeline just completed. And now if I can zoom in, you can see the new tables created based on order status. And this is for the total one. Okay. And now you understand how you can pass in parameters using configurations inside a DLT pipeline. And you can go ahead and create DLT tables based on dynamic logic that you can write. And that is the best part of declarative framework. You just have to worry about the logic and not the background working. So now we understand how we can create dynamic logics and we can very well create DLT tables based on those logics. Okay. And if I scroll to left, you can see there are no new records processed incrementally from Autoloader and the Delta table, and even the union is not reading any new records, right? So the incremental process very well works for the Autoloader that we added today. Okay. So I hope you understand how you can write dynamic logic in order to create different DLT tables dynamically. You can use autoloaders to ingest data from files inside a DLT table, how you can pass in parameters using configurations inside a DLT pipeline, and how you can union different streaming sources in order to process data incrementally inside a DLT pipeline. In our next video, we are going to work with CDF, which is change data feed, and we are going to create CDC tables, which we call as change data capture. We are going to convert our customer branch into a SCD type 2 table. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing.